Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. On today's episode of General Hospital, Alexis compliments Esme, TJ, and Molly interview surrogates, and Curtis starts treatment. When Alexis gets to the Metro court pool, she meets Gregory. What pulls her to the pool, he wonders. He replies that he has a lunch date as well after she mentions hers. Gregory departs before Esme arrives. When Nina notices that Brooklyn is now able to receive visitors, she waves her down to ask her about Sasha. She is worried, and Brooklyn acknowledges that she is in poor condition and that she is worrying a lot about her. She hears from Brooklyn about her visit and how Sasha was experiencing such a complete disconnect from reality. Nina believes that this is absurd. Gregory is pointed out to Brooklyn, who then excuses herself and says her lunch date is here. Brooklyn meets with Gregory and informs him that Chase will be late, leaving the two of them alone for the time being. He uses the opportunity to get to know her more by inquiring about her college major while they are seated. She is speechless but explains that she only attended PCU for a year and that it didn't work out. He queries whether she has considered returning, since her mother and the Quartermains alternated hosting her as a child. Brooklyn claims that college isn't her thing. She observes how dissimilar the two families were from one another. When Gregory brings up Tracy, BLQ acknowledges that she has never witnessed somebody irritate her grandma in Gregory's manner. She claims, however, that her grandma will always have their back if she truly likes or loves them. Soon after, Chase shows up and apologizes for the delay. Gregory asks Chase and Brooklyn right away if they have a future strategy in place. Brooklyn, startled, excuses herself to visit the restroom. Gregory simply wants to know if they have any plans to get married or have children while Chase rips into his father. Chase claims they are still on the way. Gregory expresses regret and merely wants to make sure Chase is content, which Chase confirms. Gregory appears to be trying to conceal a hand tremor under the table as Brooklyn returns. Asen wonders why Alexis wanted to meet her as she and Esme settled down across the pool. Alexis claims she has no plans beyond wanting to leave the office for lunch and has no agenda. She also tells Esme that lately she's been doing a wonderful job. Esme is taken aback and inquires as to her sincerity. People are the sum of their parts, Alexis reminds Esme, and while they may forgive her, they won't forget what she did. Every day is an opportunity, according to Alexis, to persuade people to change their opinions of her. Alexis is aware that things didn't go well at first, but she has improved. Esme expresses her satisfaction with her job at the Invader and inquires about Alexis' previous career as a lawyer and whether she regrets it. Alexis acknowledges that she does, but she also takes pride in the way she turned the Invader around. When Esme inquires about any similarities between the positions, Alexis responds that the two involve the presentation of truthful information. Spencer reportedly told Esme that before she turned the paper around, it was a rag. Speaking of her nephew, Alexis asks how living with him is going without Kevin and Laura. Esme claims that things are going better than anticipated and that they are settling into a routine. She exclaims how wonderful Spencer has been while also expressing her eagerness for Kevin and Laura to come back. Chase and BLQ hadn't seen Gregory trying to sign the check until Alexis turned around. Alexis approaches Chase and BLQ and invites him to follow him as they depart. When she sits and inquires about his lunch, he replies that Brooklyn is lovely. He becomes aware that she observed him fumbling with the check as she continues to probe. He claims it was fortunate that Chase and Brooklyn were unaware. He is aware of its escalation. In preparation for seeing the surrogate candidates, Molly arranges some flowers and other courtesies at Molly and TJ's house. Arriving first, the surrogate introduces herself as Andrea Gates. TJ and Molly inform her about themselves as they sit down. She reveals to them that she is married, has a child, and is currently looking for additional cash after losing her work. Andrea is seen leaving by TJ after the meeting. Both TJ and Molly concur that they like Andrea a lot. Although they have more interviews, Molly believes Andrea will be challenging to surpass. The second candidate, Chelsea, and the third candidate, Pamela, are the ones they meet next. The third candidate is not the best. She only cares about the money and how much support she will receive. They both concur that they dislike her the least after seeing her out. They both agree that they like Andrea and Chelsea. But Molly has a good feeling that they can fall back on Andrea and Chelsea. They embrace because Molly can't believe this is actually happening. When Portia arrives at the recovery center, she discovers Curtin working hard with his therapist Roy. Finally, Roy advises that they take a break because Curtis is exhausting him and because Roy wasn't prepared for him to be so animated in their first meeting. When Curtis sees Portia, she remarks that she heard he and Trina had an important chat. She was motivated by it and hoped they would finally speak. He claims that it is too much and that he is currently unable to handle the two of them. He can't handle a romance on top of having to get used to living in a wheelchair. She reassures him that he need not tackle this on his own. For the next session, the therapist is back. In a brief private conversation with Roy, Portia asks how she might assist Curtis. What specifically does she believe she can do for Curtis, he probes. She claims to be Curtis' doctor as well as his wife. Roy emphasizes that at this stage of his recovery, Curtis will find it difficult to accept support since he needs to come to terms with this new reality on his own. He counsels her to exercise patience and adhere to Curtis' schedule rather than her own. Later, Roy assists Curtis in developing arm strength and self-chairlifting techniques. Portia observes from a distance as Curtis struggles but succeeds. Avery is brought back to Sonny's house by Betty, and they enter. Dex approaches the security guard, Habe, outside and nods. When Dex phones Sonny to check in, Sonny advises him to keep an eye on Avery and to give Betty space to complete her tasks. Betty proposes that Avery take a nap after her exhausting day in Sonny's place. Avery wants to watch cartoons and claims naps are for babies. To keep her occupied, Betty invites her to watch them on her tablet with her headphones. When Nana shows up outside, she informs Dex that she wants to grab a few items that she left last night. He can't let her in, Dex explains. She claims to be Sonny's bride-to-be. Dex and Gabe claim they were told not to let anyone inside. Nana declares this to be unbelievable and leaves. Dex enters the house again and discovers Betty looking through the mail. He queries her about what she is doing. Betty claims that she was only shopping for art supplies for Avery because she already has a lot on her plate. Dex apologizes before leaving. Betty gains access to Sonny's computer when she is by herself. Avery is instructed to be quiet and pretend she hasn't noticed Dex as he enters covertly. Betty discovers a folder on Pikeman on Sonny's computer in his office and copies the file of shipment schedules to a flash drive. Ava was waiting for Sonny in his office when he arrived, and she demanded an update on the nanny from hell. She is advised to unwind because Sonny has everything under control. He informs her that Dex has been pursuing her all day and that Avery and Betty will never be left alone. He claims that Avery will be kept secure by Gabe and Dex, and all they need to do is wait for Betty to discover what he put for her. He tells her about the documents he gave Betty to find. What Ava actually needs, she claims, is Nicholas' body returned. Sonny advises Ava to concentrate on Austin and Mason's boss because he most likely has the body. They need to identify their counterparts in order to recover it. When Nana arrives, Ava is already there. Sonny responds that they were talking about Avery when she wonders what's going on. Ava leaves quickly. Nana questions why the guards won't let her inside his apartment and why Ava is acting so strange. In order to protect his family, Sonny says that there are some things he simply cannot tell her. Nana storms out after telling Sonny that she feels like one of his employees as a result of this.